Have you ever just had one of those weeks where you just keep pushing yourself so hard and the only thing that is keeping you going is sheer willpower? And we really don't like to do that whole willpower thing over here on the Growth Alchemist. Burning the candle at both ends, juggling endless tasks. And then all this week, I just heard this little voice in my head that kept saying, "You're fine, keep going, keep going." But just like I talked to you about that not being self-growth, I know that that is not truly self-growth. So today, I wanted to just come to you with a word. It's a word that we don't often use when we are talking about self-improvement and self-growth, and that is grace. So this week, I really had a tough week. I just started a new job, and let me rephrase that. I actually started my job a month ago, but I spent the first 2 weeks just pretty much observing. And then we had a 2-week fall break. I'm a teacher. I teach high school history. So we came back off of our fall break, and this was our first full week of school. And last school year, in the past 3 school years, I have been in a classroom. This school year, I am a virtual history teacher. So I teach from home virtually. And don't let anyone tell you that teaching online is easier than teaching in person, because I personally think after just a week of doing it, it's probably a little bit more work because you have to work a little bit harder to keep the kids engaged online. Yes, they do show up because they have to show up to get their credits, but there's a lot more work to do, in my opinion. And unfortunately, there's no off switch, so to speak. But I digress. Another video for another time. But my week was just really crazy. I was up late. I was really grinding. I was trying to get everything done on my to-do list. And if you're like me, I'm what they call a kinesthetic learner. And so I like to write things down. I like to make lists and cross things off my list. And so this week, you probably can't see it, but I had lots of things written down. And then today is Friday. So this was my Friday. Needless to say, I did not get everything done that was on my list for this week. And I was really kind of beating myself up about it and feeling some kind of way. But then I had to really stop and think, because it's the end of the week and I was feeling absolutely exhausted and drained. I mean, just done. And that's when I realized that I had to take a step back and just give myself permission to just stop. And that was one of the most valuable things I could have done. And that helped me get more in tune with my self-growth. Now, we talk about self-improvement, building resilience, setting goals, all of the things. But what we don't talk enough about is grace. Allowing ourselves to pause without feeling like we're falling behind in the hustle of being in our self-growth movement. Because, it's really easy to think sometimes that if I'm not working harder, I'm not getting better. But the truth is that self-improvement also means knowing when to pull back and when to give yourself room to recharge. And that is what I had to do to myself just today. I mean, think about it. How often do you feel guilty about taking a break? We set these really high standards for ourselves. We keep pushing ourselves to the max, and we think we're failing. But if you are constantly running on empty, you are really not bringing your best self to the table. So here is something I have learned this week or reinforced with myself this week. And if you're watching, maybe you need this reminder too. Let yourself slow down. Pushing tasks to the next day, taking a moment to breathe, and just saying, I'll get to it tomorrow. That is not a sign of weakness. It is actually wisdom. Self-growth isn't a sprint. As I've mentioned before, it's a marathon. It's a process. And in marathons, you have to pace yourself. You rest, and that's how you make it to the finish line. And we have to keep that in mind for ourselves every day. The next time that you're feeling tempted to just push through, ask yourself, are you really doing it for the right reasons? Are you truly growing, or are you just running on autopilot because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do? I mean, you need to give yourself some grace. Treat yourself with the same understanding that you would give to a friend. Trust me, it's the one best thing that you can do for yourself on this personal growth journey. So hey, let me know in the comments, when is the last time that you really gave yourself a break? Tonight, after I came back from my doctor's appointment, I did not get back on my computer. I cut it off. As you can see, I shut it down, and I did not do any more work tonight. Well, I am shooting this video, but I'm doing that because I really wanted to come here and talk to you tonight, just to give you a word about giving yourself grace. Because even though I talk to you about self-growth, self-improvement, and providing strategies to you, I am not perfect, and I often have to remind myself to give myself that moment, that time, that grace that I need to rejuvenate and recover and continue being a good person, in good spirits, and resilient. Now, if this message today about giving yourself grace resonated with you at all, don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button for more talks on self-growth and resilience, and how to give yourself grace when you need it. Remember, we are in this for the long haul, so take care of yourself because you deserve it. So until next time, give yourself some grace. Take everything that you didn't get to today and put it on your to-do list for tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next video.